What happens when you treat your husband like a slave, only to find out he's a billionaire in disguise? This is the story of Amara, a proud Nigerian woman, and Emeka, the man she mocked, disrespected, and humiliated daily, until the truth shattered her world. Get ready for an emotional, heartbreaking, and unforgettable journey. The Man She Called a Nobody. Let's begin. The compound was buzzing. Women from every corner of the street were squeezing themselves into the tiny yard like sardines. Even Mama Ifeoma, who never left her store, had closed early, just to see with her 2 eyes what was going on. "Please, who is doing wedding for this kind of poor house?" someone whispered. "Is Amara? Oh, she said is love. She said the guy is driving Kiki but get good character," another answered with a hiss. Amara, the neighborhood beauty, was getting married to a Kiki driver named Emeka. No one could understand it. Amara, who used to date big boys with iPhones and Benz, was now saying "I do" to a man who couldn't afford a pair of new shoes. But Amara had her reasons, bitter ones. She had been dumped, used, betrayed. And when Emeka came along, soft-spoken and always willing to run her errands without complaint, she thought maybe love wasn't about money after all. Only that. She didn't really love him. She just needed someone to fill the empty space. So she said yes. Not because she saw a future with Emeka, but because she was tired of being alone. Emeka, on the other hand, looked at her like she was a dream. In his eyes, she was a goddess. In her eyes, he was useful. But what no one knew, not even Amara, was that Emeka wasn't who he appeared to be. Not at all. The first week after the wedding was surprisingly peaceful. Emeka would wake up early, sweep the compound, boil water for her bath, and prepare her favorite yam and egg sauce before she got out of bed. Amara barely lifted a finger. She'd lie on the bed, scrolling her phone, barking instructions. "Don't burn the eggo. You know I don't like too much pepper. And please, use bottled water. I can't shout typhoid." Emeka would smile, nod, and obey. To outsiders, it looked like love. To Emeka, it was service. To Amara, it was survival. "You'd treat that man like houseboy." Her friend Cynthia laughed during one of her visits. Amara scoffed. "A beg. Leave that thing. Did I beg him? He said he loves me, Abi, so let him prove it. But you no love him like that." "Love will grow," Amara replied carelessly, tossing her bra on the chair. "Besides, it's better to be worshipped by a loyal pauper than to be disrespected by a rich devil." They both laughed. Meanwhile, Emeka was outside, washing her clothes with his bare hands. It was a Wednesday. Amara had just returned from visiting an ex-boyfriend. She claimed she was going to the salon, but her perfume betrayed her. Strong, expensive, masculine. Emeka noticed. "Amara, your hair looks the same. Did you really go to the salon?" She turned sharply. "So you're questioning me now, Emeka? You're policing me? Because you paid for this house?" "I didn't mean it that way." "Slap!" She slapped him. Hard. Silence. Even the neighbor's goat stopped bleating. "I said don't question me," she hissed. "You don't own me. You're lucky I married you at all." Emeka didn't say a word. He picked up his slippers, quietly left the room, and slept on the couch outside. That night, he wept silently. Not because of the slap, but because of the wound it reopened, the wound of his past, of being judged by appearance, of being loved for status and not for soul. But he still stayed. Cynthia couldn't understand it. "Emeka dey do like houseboy, but the way he dey speak sometimes, and he be like say the guy go better school," she said, sipping malt. Amara waved her off. "A beg. Who knows? Maybe he watched too many foreign movies growing up." But Cynthia wasn't convinced. That evening, she followed him secretly to the park. Instead of turning to the Kiki garage, Emeka veered off into GRA. Cynthia trailed quietly, curious. He stopped in front of a large compound, 3-story mansion, heavy gate, security dogs. And then he entered. No resistance. "Wait, oh," Cynthia whispered, hiding behind a car. "Is this not Chief Nwokidi's abandoned house?" What was he doing there? She peeped again. Emeka hugged an elderly woman. The woman called him, "My son." What? The next morning, Cynthia stormed into Amara's house. "Babe, we need to talk." Amara, chewing chin-chin, barely looked up. "Hope no problem? It's your husband, Emeka. He's not who you think he is." Amara dropped her chin-chin. "Abeg, don't start." "I followed him yesterday. He went to a big house in GRA. The gate man called him Sir Emeka. The madam inside called him her son. Amara, are you sure this guy is not rich?" Amara laughed, loud. "My Emeka? Rich? As how? With those faded trousers and dry sandals?" "I'm serious, oh. Something is not adding up." For the first time in a long while. Amara paused. Could Cynthia be right? Could this man she had insulted, mocked, and slapped actually be something more? She brushed it off. But doubt had entered, and from that day on, she began to watch him differently. Amara began noticing things she had ignored before, like the way Emeka always locked his phone with a fingerprint, or how he got strange calls at night and stepped outside to speak, or how he sometimes disappeared for hours and came back with no explanation. So one morning, she did the unthinkable. While he was bathing, she unlocked his phone using his thumb while he slept earlier and opened his gallery. She saw folders, travel photos, luxurious hotels, a photo of him beside a private jet, another with a popular governor. What is this? By the time Emeka came out of the bathroom, the room was silent. Amara was holding the phone, eyes watery. Who are you?" she asked, voice trembling. Emeka paused, wrapped the towel tighter. "Amara, you lied to me." "I didn't lie. I hid." They sat quietly for over 30 minutes. Emeka finally spoke. "My name is Emeka Nwokedi, son of the late Chief Magnus Nwokedi. I own the house in GRA. I own this house too. I bought it in someone else's name." Amara's lips quivered. Why pretend?" "Because I've been used before. Women wanted my money, not my heart. I wanted someone to love me raw, with nothing attached. Someone who could see my soul and not my status." Tears rolled down Amara's cheeks. "So you tested me?" "I was never testing you. I was hoping." Silence. Then Amara did something unexpected. She dropped to her knees, for the first time. "I'm sorry," she whispered. But her voice shook, because she knew the damage was already too deep. Days passed. Emeka barely spoke. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't insult her. He just became silent. That silence hurt more than his words ever could. Then one morning, he dropped an envelope on the table. "Travel documents," he said simply. "I'll be leaving for the UK tomorrow for a business merger." "For how long?" "I don't know." She wanted to scream, to beg, to hold his leg and cry, but pride still whispered, "Don't embarrass yourself." So she nodded. "Okay, safe journey." That night she lay on the bed alone, his scent still on the pillow. She cried like a baby. She had lost him, not to another woman, but to herself. After Emeka left, the house changed. No laughter, no yam and egg sauce, no one to massage her feet, no slippers placed by her door, just emptiness. Then came the shame. The neighbors heard. Some mocked, some pitied, but all whispered. The woman who married a pauper had thrown away a billionaire. One afternoon, Cynthia visited with cold zobo. "I warned you," she said quietly. Amara didn't argue. She had gone from bride to beggar, emotionally bankrupt. She began attending church again, sat in the back row, cried during worship. She even started volunteering to clean the altar. Anything to feel worthy again. 2 months later, a letter arrived. Handwritten, no stamp, no name. Inside was a note. "True love is not in how you're treated when someone is rich, but how you're treated when they're low. I saw your heart, Amara, and though it broke mine, I forgive you. Emeka." Tears soaked the paper. She read it over and over. Then something else dropped from the envelope. A key. To what? To who? She didn't know, but something told her. Her story wasn't over. Not yet. The next morning, Amara, dressed in jeans and a simple blouse, tucked the key into her purse and boarded a kiki. Her hands shook the entire ride to Giore. She stood in front of the mansion Cynthia once described. 3-story, elegant black gates, palm trees waving lazily. She hesitated, heart thudding. Then she inserted the key. It turned and opened. No one stopped her. The security guard at the gate only nodded politely and said, "Welcome, madam." Madam? Inside, the house was spotless. Marble floors, expensive art. It smelled like vanilla and power. On the dining table, another letter waited. "Make yourself comfortable. You're not a stranger here anymore." E. She dropped to the couch, stunned. Was this real? Could this still be love? Days passed. She waited, cleaned, cooked, even washed his white agbadas with her hands. "I'm not too big to serve," she whispered. She made it her mission to be different, to show she had changed. And then he returned, not with noise or fanfare, but quietly, just as he had come into her life. She didn't see him at first. She only heard his voice behind her as she scrubbed the kitchen sink. "You missed a spot." She turned so fast she slipped and nearly fell, but he caught her, held her, tight. "I thought you weren't coming back," she whispered, tears in her eyes. "I wanted to see if you'd still love me without knowing I was coming." She buried her face in his chest. "I do. I swear I do." They started again, slowly. He didn't just take her back. He watched her cook without complaint, watched her kneel to pray every morning, watched her volunteer to feed street kids near the mansion. One day, he brought her a new phone. She frowned. "Why are you buying me this?" He smiled. "Because the one you use has a cracked screen." "But I don't deserve." "You do. I never stopped loving you. I just needed to know you loved me back." She broke down in tears. "Thank you for giving me a second chance." But what she didn't know was that someone else had entered the story, and she wasn't ready for her. Her name was Linda, tall, elegant, powerful, CEO of a real estate company, and once, Emeka's ex. She came to the house with business papers and intentions. "I heard you were back in town," she said, hugging Emeka a little too tight. "You look strong. Wealth suits you." Amara watched from the staircase, her heart twisted. When Emeka introduced her, Linda smiled too wide. "Oh, this is the wife." Like Amara was an accessory. Later that night, Amara asked Emeka, "Did you ever love her?" He paused too long before answering. "I thought I did." That silence haunted her. One evening, Amara waited for him to return from a meeting with Linda. He was late. Too late. Rain began to fall. She stood outside holding an umbrella, waiting, heart pounding. He finally arrived, stepping out of his SUV. She ran to him, eyes full of fear. "Do you still love me?" she asked suddenly, voice trembling. He looked surprised. "Of course I do. Why?" "Then tell her to stay away. I can't compete with her. I'm just a girl who treated you like trash." He touched her face gently. "You were a girl who didn't know better. Now you're a woman who loves deeply." She cried in the rain, hugging him like her life depended on it. Because truly, it did. Linda wasn't done. The next day she showed up again, this time with a contract. "Emeka, remember the estate project we talked about before you left for Enugu? Let's revive it. 50 million in profits. Guaranteed." Amara overheard it from the corridor. 50 what? She quietly stepped away and walked into the kitchen, but the words rang in her ears. 50 million. Guaranteed. That night she served Emeka dinner. He noticed her quietness. "What's wrong?" She forced a smile. "Nothing. I just need to work harder." He stared at her. "You think Linda can take me away from you, don't you?" She looked away. He dropped his fork and stood, walked over, lifted her chin. I didn't marry her. I married you, and I'd do it again. But the fear didn't leave her. Amara started comparing herself with Linda, her clothes, her accent, her long nails, her fake British smile. Suddenly, Amara didn't feel enough anymore. She went to a salon, fixed artificial lashes, bought heels she couldn't walk in, dyed her hair honey blonde. When Emeka saw her, he blinked. You look different. Do you like it? He paused. I like the woman who wore slippers to church and danced off-beat. This one looks like she's auditioning for a reality show. Tears gathered in her eyes. I just wanted to match her level. He pulled her into his arms. You already passed her level when you knelt that night and asked for forgiveness. It was Emeka's birthday. She had planned a surprise dinner, just him and her. Cooked his favorite egusi soup, jollof rice, and even baked a cake from YouTube tutorials. She waited till 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., no call, no message. By 11 p.m., she was curled on the floor, eyes puffy. Then her phone rang. Amara, I'm so sorry. The car broke down. I had no network. I've been trying to get a mechanic. I thought, you chose her. Never. I'll be home soon. But when he got home, he found her unconscious, collapsed from emotional stress and exhaustion. She was rushed to the hospital. When Amara woke up, Emeka was beside her, holding her hand. Her lips trembled. I thought I lost you. No, I lost you, Amara, to fear, to pain I caused by hiding my truth. He reached into his jacket pocket, pulled out an envelope. Inside it, a handwritten letter and a ring. You gave me the honor of being your husband once. Now let me ask for it again, knowing everything. Will you marry me, again, this time for real? She cried, ugly cried, then nodded furiously. Yes, Emeka, 1,000 times yes. It was a small garden wedding, but rich in every sense. Amara wore a simple lace dress, her natural hair in an updo, no fake lashes, no heavy makeup, just her. Emeka wore white native, clean, confident. As she walked down the aisle, even Linda, watching from afar, smiled bitterly. She had lost. The vows were deep. I loved you when you didn't know what love was, Emeka said. And I found myself because you stayed, Amara replied, voice cracking. They sealed it with a kiss. This time, not as a master and a slave, but as equals, as lovers, as forever. One sunny afternoon, Emeka's mother arrived, Madame Nwakiti, strong, soft-spoken, elegant in her iro and jeel. Amara knelt respectfully. Good afternoon, Ma. The woman smiled lightly. So, you're the one who slapped my son. Amara froze. Emeka coughed awkwardly. Mummy? Don't worry. If he still chose you after that, who am I to judge? They all laughed, awkwardly. Later that evening, Emeka's mother pulled Amara aside. Do you love my son now? With everything in me, Amara replied sincerely. The older woman smiled, gently holding her hand. Then don't let anyone, past or future, shake that. Not even you. But shadows don't stay quiet for long. 2 weeks later, a woman appeared at their gate. She wore a cheap wig and looked tired from travel. I'm here to see Emeka Nwakiti, she said. Her name was Ijeoma. Emeka recognized her immediately. Amara noticed his face change. Who is she? Emeka sighed deeply. She was my ex, before I left Lagos. I almost married her. Amara swallowed hard. Why is she here now? I don't know, but I need to find out. Ijeoma stepped into the compound and dropped a bombshell. I didn't come to cause trouble. I just wanted to tell you, you have a son. The news shook the house like thunder. Amara's fingers couldn't stop trembling. Son? Emeka sat quietly. If it's true, I need to know. A DNA test was arranged. The days waiting for the result were unbearable. Amara stayed mostly silent. Her smile faded, her laughter dimmed. Then the result came. 99.8% match. It was true. Emeka had a son. His name was Chidera, 7 years old. Big eyes, quiet, brilliant. When Emeka met him, he broke down in tears. "I never knew. I'm so sorry." Amara watched from the corner as father and son hugged. Later, Chidera sat beside her. "You're very pretty," he said shyly. She smiled sadly. "Thank you. Are you my mummy now?" Tears welled up in her eyes. She bent down and hugged him tightly. "If you want me to be, then yes, I'd love to." But not everyone was happy. Ijoma began staying longer than necessary. Sometimes she came with gifts, other times with attitude. One afternoon, Amara caught her whispering to Emeka, "You still love me, I can see it." Emeka stepped back. "No, that chapter is closed." But Amara had already heard enough. That night she didn't eat. She didn't speak. She just stared at the ceiling. What if this boy connected them forever? What if her marriage was now threatened again? But when Emeka held her hand, he said just one thing. "Chidera may be my son, but you are my peace." Amara couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Ijoma's face. Her words echoed, "You still love me." Though Emeka reassured her daily, the fear grew louder. One day during breakfast, she broke down. "Do you wish you had married her instead?" He dropped his spoon, walked over, knelt before her. "Amara, you are my future. Ijoma is part of my past. Even Chidera knows where home is, and home is you." She cried on his shoulder, releasing months of fear. She finally believed it. It was a Saturday afternoon. Chidera was playing with the neighbor's kids when a stray ball rolled onto the road. He chased it. A motorcycle came out of nowhere. Screams, thud, chaos. Amara ran out barefoot, blood, tears. Chidera was rushed to the hospital unconscious. Doctors fought for hours. Emeka was a wreck. He couldn't stop pacing. Amara sat in a corner, praying, crying, shaking. She whispered, "God, please don't take this boy. Not now, not when we just found him." After 9 long hours, the doctor came out. "His skull is intact, just a concussion. He'll be fine." Amara fell to her knees. Emeka hugged her so tight, her ribs almost cracked. When Chidera opened his eyes the next day, the first word he said was, "Mummy." Amara broke down in fresh tears. This boy was hers now, not by blood, but by love. Months later, Amara started a foundation. Grace Before Gold, a shelter and skill center for abused and neglected women. She told her story publicly for the first time. "I once slapped my husband. I once treated him like dirt, because I didn't know who he truly was. But worse, I didn't know who I was. Broken people break others. But healed people? They help others heal too." Women cried, some men too. She wasn't just a billionaire's wife. She was a voice of healing. Their wedding anniversary came quietly. Emeka surprised her with a trip to Zanzibar, but before they boarded, he had one more surprise. In the airport lounge, he pulled out a velvet box. Inside, a second ring, rose gold, diamond-studded, with one word engraved inside, "Peace." He slipped it on her finger again, "For the woman who found herself and found me." She whispered, "And for the man who stayed when he had every reason to walk away." They kissed under the airport lights, surrounded by strangers, but in that moment all they saw was each other. And so, she learned the hard way that you don't judge a man by the money you see today, because hidden riches don't shine until it's too late. This was more than just a love story. It was a lesson in respect, humility, and the power of truth. If this story touched your heart, made you think, or even brought tears to your eyes, don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts. And please, subscribe for more emotional, powerful, and real Nigerian stories. We tell the stories you feel, the ones you'll never forget. Until next time, stay kind, stay real.